that was the most interesting thing I've ever experienced before a show. Umar was there for that with Dan. Woke you guys up at 3:30 in the morning.
I slept at all.
Shitting and throwing up, and I had to be on stage in 8 hours. And when it passed, Dan just started feeding me rice, coconut oil, and Gatorade. And that was my carb off. If you guys want a fucking bomb leg day, so like the one leg day in terms of the base and the skeleton that I did for the longest time. So like you guys want to beef up your legs. The thing I'll say about Chaz is has a physique that is
gay,
amazing. No, not gay.
Dude, I would have clipped that too, and now I can't clip it.
You can definitely clip it.
He could be gay. But he still has amazing. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with gay people.
Now he sounds like me.
All right.
So that's just in controversial topics this whole time.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Gia. Let's do it. He's game.
How do you feel
If
about
I know it, I'll talk about it. Like I don't know anything about anything overseas. I don't know. If I truthfully know about it, I'll talk. You can ask my opinion. I'll give you my opinion. I'm straight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I will not talk on stuff I don't really know.
We're definitely going to talk about the topic we were talking about yesterday when you were asking me about the Arnolds.
Gaza.
You'll remind me of it because I don't remember it now.
It'll come up. I'm curious to see what their opinions are too. I think it's very similar. Go ahead, Chaz.
All right, welcome to the Infinite Crisis Podcast, Episode 8. I'm your host, Chaz Finnegan.
Umar.
We really got to go through and say all. Just say I'm here.
What if they're watching for the first time?
The thing is if they're listening for the first time, I'm fucking pissed. You gotta fucking introduce yourself. You're a host.
I'm saying if you're leading it, just say all our names.
Okay, yeah, I could do it.
That's what I was saying.
Okay,
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, but we were. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying, just keep it
I was
going.
just heated, dude. I'm not taking shit today. That's the thing.
Please leave that in.
I will.
That'd be so funny.
All right, welcome to the Infinite Crisis Podcast, Episode 8. I'm your host, Chaz Finnegan, Umar, Gio, and our special guest, Justin Badurina.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the show, Justin.
AKA J-Bads.
Thank you for having me.
AKA Flosidon.
Flosidon. If you're new here, if this is your first episode, please subscribe below, comment on this if you can relate to anything, like it, and share it, please. Thanks.
Yikes. Jesus.
Dude, we need more. We need more subscribers, all right?
Yeah.
What's going on, Jay?
Has more subscribers.
I'm breaking
if I share this, we'll see how many more you guys
Yeah.
get.
And I know this is a crazy way to start, but I just thought about it because I was watching yesterday. Didn't you guys watch that Quiet on the Set documentary with the Nickelodeon kids?
Nah, I've been hearing a lot about it. I haven't watched it yet.
No.
Do you even know about it? You didn't hear everything that's coming out about Nickelodeon. Like, I don't want to get it wrong.
Bunch of fucking pedophiles at
I
Nickelodeon.
can only imagine.
Dude, Drake Bell just released a song about that.
Wasn't it like I Can Relate or some shit?
Yeah. Oh, I get it now.
Dude's making hits off of
being
molested.
Dude, he brought that out quick, too.
That was wild.
The song isn't bad, honestly.
I haven't heard it.
It's actually an interesting documentary that we should watch.
I think it's fucking nuts. I mean, it's pretty sad, too, to see what these kids are, exposed to. And
of course.
A lot of shitty parents, too, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. They're like, oh, I didn't know what to do.
We see the checks coming in.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're like, I didn't want to ruin their career. I was like, bro, this is your fucking kid.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. But yeah, if you guys want to bum everyone out, watch that at some point.
All right, sounds good.
Sweet.
Something more positive.
Yeah, sounds like a good little watch.
What's new with you, Jay? What's going on in life?
Yeah, tell us. As an introduction, Justin is a Classic Physique pro competitor. He went pro in 2019, right?
What show was that?
NBC Universe.
Yes.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Big show.
What shows have you done since then?
Since then, I've done 5 pro shows. I did my pro debut in 2020, Battle, Texas. I did 2 shows the following year, which was Texas State and then Atlantic Coast. Then I took a year off. I did compete last year, did Fit World in California, and then I did Charlotte Pro last April. So that actually Fit World is a year from next weekend.
Wow.
So it's coming up on a year since being on stage.
Nice.
Yeah, so definitely a cool career so far. I got 8th in my debut, and then I got 3rd in Texas, 2nd in Atlantic Coast, 5th in Fit World, but we won't talk about that too much. And then Charlotte was 2nd again. So knocking on the door.
When did you start bodybuilding?
Oh, I started bodybuilding. I don't know. I did my first show in 2016. In October 2016, I did Gold's Classic. It was a show around this area. You might know. It was at some of the other changed schools. It was at. It was in South Jersey, Shawnee.
It was at Shawnee. Then it was at Lenape.
Lenape was the first year I did it. So when it was at Lenape, that was my first show.
Yeah.
So I started competing in 2016, and I really haven't looked back since. I met my coach at that first show. I kind of coached myself for that first show, although I had some assistance from a strength conditioning coach from hockey, because I used to play hockey. So he kind of helped with training and diet, but he didn't really know much about the bodybuilding realm, but it was a big help for sure. And then, after that, at the show, I met Dan, my coach now, and synced up with him about 2 months after as the new year started. And I've been working with him ever since. It's been 7 years and 3 or 4 months. Damn. And shout out to Dan. His birthday, I think, is tomorrow. Is the 25th tomorrow or Tuesday?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow's his birthday.
Happy early birthday, Dan.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
You've been with the same coach for over 7 years.
Over 7 years.
Pretty incredible. I've never heard
That's
that,
pretty cool.
honestly.
Over 7
Very,
years.
very rare
Yeah,
nowadays.
especially for a pro, a pretty high-ranking pro in the pro circuit. That's very rare.
Yeah, you always have, there's been a lot that's happened in his career as a coach. There's been times where he's thought about pulling back from coaching, and there's been times where I'm like, well, if I, need a new coach, who am I going to go with? But he's kind of stuck it out, and I've stuck it out too. And, we're definitely closer than coach-client, for sure. I view him as someone incredibly close, one of my closest friends. But, yeah, when you meet someone, you have that relationship, and there's a lot of blind trust in the beginning when you meet someone, right? Because you don't know much about what they're gonna do. But I think we've proved to each other over the years that we're all in about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
seriously.
it's we keep kind of leveling up what we do. A lot of people, I understand why they leave coaches, but there's never been something that checks off a box that says, yo, this is you need to go with someone else. Me and Dan have a great relationship. He does well with my body. Keep getting better and better. Looking forward to this year. Looking forward to another rodeo with him.
What's the show?
Not Tom.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you guys off air.
Oh, okay. All
I'll tell you
right.
guys off air.
You want to share anything about this year at all?
Off the record.
Don't say any dates or anything like
I'll
that.
tell you guys off the record for sure. I just want to kind of keep it close. You know what I mean? I'm not really. And sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes I'll start prep and towards the back end, something will get out and people will know. And there are my close family friends. Dan knows obviously. But podcast sponsored by Bum Energy.
Yeah, Bum Energy.
Use code GEO to save.
Yeah, it tastes pretty fucking good.
Oh, Jesus, holy shit!
What is going on?
Just drink it, drink it.
Oh my god.
What? What's going on?
What the fuck?
It literally just exploded on him.
It's defective. I want another one.
This
Chris
guy takes
Bumstead.
care of kids and can't even take care of himself.
Shut up, dude. That's C-Bum's problem, all right?
Yeah, he made that can.
Sorry, Umar.
For real.
Don't apologize
Buy
to
you a
me.
new table, all right?
Slurp it up, dude.
But this year, I'm better. I keep leveling up. It's gonna be more confidence that I need to have because I lack it a lot, and I need to be kinder to my mind. I wore this shirt.
There you go.
What'd you do different this year?
Hired someone for training. That was a big help.
Yeah.
I have Nick Loff, who is based out of Florida, doing my training programs. So him working with Dan and I, tailoring kind of things a bit more precisely to me has been a big help, for sure. And I'm starting prep 15 pounds heavier. And in the past, and going into the last year, I started prep heavier as well. I started prep. It was crazy to think about. Well, I was for Texas State, which you had went to. I started that prep weighing 232, 233, which is crazy to me. And last year I started prep at 247, and then and this year I started at 262.
What the fuck?
Huge jump.
So,
whoa, dude.
I would say I'm tighter. I'd say I'm leaner. You know, Umar sees me regularly.
Yeah.
Like this is the leanest starting point I've had to a prep. My face doesn't look fat. Just sometimes I get a little bit chunky. You know, in the off seasons.
Yeah.
What honestly, nothing changed. It's just I want people that are listening. This goes for like you got clients and people, like consistency yields results. I don't care what everyone says. The more you do this, the more consistent you are, the more time you put in, it's going to give back. It always will.
Yeah.
The more suck you're able to go through, the more shitty off seasons of forcing food down and kind of like having to kind of put your eyes on the back burner from what you're seeing in the mirror, right? Like when you kind of say, I'm not like in contest shape, because today's day and age, everyone's in shape all the time, right? Social media makes it seem like everyone can look good all the time. But yeah, this year will be different for sure. I'm going to be a different freak.
With your level of consistency too, I think just something like a small tweak like you did with your training with Nick Loff, a small tweak like that, like compounded just over a year, probably yields so much more results than anybody else. Probably.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I can quickly touch base on his work. It's been great. It's been like just over 3 months of kind of having him kind of like steer me in the right way with training, and I've always like gone back and forth with Umar and other people as well, but I never I don't want to say listened, but I never like locked into something that could help, and I never really trusted my own with that. So, I spoke with my girlfriend, I spoke with another buddy of mine. They're like, you followed Dan's plan, like someone else does it for you. Why don't you let someone else do this for once? Yeah. Because I've been doing my own thing with the training for a bit. Like Dan gives me input, but I when I got my pro card to my pro debut, I saw a lot of progress training a certain way. Like I changed my training from when I was going into turning pro to when I did my pro debut. Right. And like from that point, I was like, okay, this is what's going to work. Got to a point now where I'm like, okay, I need to change it up. So like little bit of advice for people, like don't always be set in your ways. Yeah, absolutely. Because your body's going to change and you might need different things at different points in your career. Yeah. And I understand that now. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
in your career, like through the training, like how has it changed over the years? Obviously, amateur and stuff like that, probably generally the same for most people. Like bro split stuff like that. Yeah. So I grew up with a more volume approach. I was that guy who would go hit arms and hit probably like 20 sets each. Like in my younger years of competing, like 5-6 days of training a week, right? Like I'd do my bro split, and then if I had like a weak point, I'd hit that again, or I'd just go to go, because I'm so glued to the gym. I think a lot of us younger guys like always could find a way to get in the gym, right?
Yeah, we were younger for sure, man.
Yeah. It was like
we'd want to go to the gym.
We had the energy for it. Maybe we didn't have as many life responsibilities, and not for nothing. And I hate to say this, we probably still trained as hard, but not as heavy, and the load over time will make your recovery and stuff tougher.
You remember when we were at Attilas, dude? You come in on Friday nights, and I would fucking put you through it. We'd be the only ones in there. We had a fucking ball.
We trained together.
You two met at a show, or
we met at Attilas?
At Attilas, okay.
Yeah.
And you went up to him and told him he was big, or who
no,
told who
I
was
think
big?
Honestly, I think at the time I was trying to soak in a lot of knowledge, and I think I asked him. He was training with some other people at the time. I was still a little bit new to it, and like I definitely was open to like advice, and I've always I've been. I've just, as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little bit more set in my ways. Maybe you could say stubborn, but I'd say more set in my ways because, and I don't mean to say it like this, like there aren't a lot of pros around here. So it's like, okay, when you're passing people, and I don't mean like, listen, it's just a sport, right? So this doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. But like when you pass someone in a sport, it's like, okay, like how could I
better than them, by the way?
How can I listen to them if they don't
Someone
have
sucks. Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean?
Like, fucking listen to this guy. Look at this fucking guy. This shit don't even work for you. Why am I gonna listen to you?
It's
no, I get it. I get it.
Like there's certain things where you're like, it's kind of like I had this, like a couple months back, I had this like older dude in the gym.
Say his
nice
name.
Guy. Nice guy.
Say his name. I used to look like you.
Yeah.
I bet you fucking
We used to
did.
do this back in the day. I'm like, and like, with all due respect, the level nowadays is different. You respect the past and where it's come from. Arnold was one of the greatest ever of his time. He would get smoked today. You know what I mean?
That's the craziest thing when like you see Samir Bannout and who was it, Robbie Robinson, like trying to talk on today's. Like you just can't compare it. You can't compare it at all.
Some of the stuff is still applicable.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
For sure.
I mean,
some of those guys.
Yeah, when you look at the guys like Charles Glass who've been doing it and they progress with it and get better with the time. I mean, yeah, it's hard to deny Charles Glass, but like,
and I will say some of those 80s and 90s guys probably do look better than the people now. But I'm speaking like 70s, like the back in my day guys.
Yeah,
the 70s,
you don't hear like
70s.
You don't hear the 80s, 90s guys saying back in my day because it's still relevant and like, you know, people still look at their pictures and still compare to that and still say that was like the error, right? So it's like
I don't think anyone's looking at the 90s and saying like, yeah, we beat that. I don't think anyone can look at the 90s and be like,
I don't think so, but you know, I think we need to give ourselves more credit today. I think that there's you know, like I don't know, man, we push the size thing a bit too much today, but also there's some incredible talent that like just we were talking about this, you know, like there's pictures and videos everywhere. So people are getting you at your worst a lot. Whereas like back in the day, all the stuff we'd see from these contests, these pictures, is only people at their best. So like you're not seeing them at their worst, right? Whereas today, man, we're this phone and these cameras and like you're able to see more, whether that's good or bad.
Yeah,
that's
right.
for the person to decipher.
Yeah, that's actually really true.
Yeah, I mean, we started lifting like so long ago, and the training has been different for sure. And like you asked about progression, like I used to do this like higher volume approach, and then like I got into the Dorian stuff, like around like right after I turned pro. I kind of modified that to my own, like because he would do like 4 days of training and 2 days of rest, like 2 on 1 off type thing. And I tried to adopt that with my schedule. Just sometimes it's tough with school and work and stuff. So I would kind of just do like push, pull, arms, legs.
Right.
And I'd repeat that, right? So like chest, shoulders, back, rear delts, an arm day, leg day. And I blew up. You know, I got even better and bigger from when I turned pro to my pro debut was a 12-pound weight.
I think you really did. So absolutely.
Like it's crazy. 196 on show day when I turned pro to 208 at my pro debut. And the following years, I was 208 again in Texas and Florida when I placed second and third. And I was the same weight, but I was a lot better. But I was still the same weight. Then I've tailored training a bit more, but it's been the same kind of concept, like low volume, high intensity, max effort sets going into like last year. And I put on 10, 11 pounds of stage weight. And then I was doing that this year until I was like, like my back is, where the judges say like, I just have a tough time with it and tough time program around it. And like, I didn't know what was too much, too little. So I hired this guy, and now I do similar to what I do now, but like he definitely has some more volume in there, and it's definitely, it definitely kicks my ass. But one thing he's told me is something that Umar's preached for a bit, which is, some of these big compound movements, they're great for us. They're great for establishing a base. Like I love back squatting. Like it's my favorite exercise ever. But like I don't do it anymore because what it does to my CNS and my spine, and I can't. And my legs are recovered, but like I'm not recovered. You know what I mean? So like now, like just by doing a hack squat and like not deadlifting anymore, doing like stiff deadlifts or RDLs, like you learn how to tailor things, because as you get bigger, you're getting stronger and you're moving more too. So like. More weight on that back squat will bury you for a long time. That's why Tom Platz had phenomenal legs, but the rest of him wasn't up to par, right, compared to his legs. And he had to take 2 weeks between leg days because of what that squat was doing to him, right? So a little bit about training. Yeah. I'll hop off my soapbox.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's like definitely a hard balance, because like you want to go to the gym and have fun, and you have fun doing back squats, and that motivates you, and that
absolutely
keeps you. But
you spotted me for my craziest set I've ever had on back squats. Yeah. It was 550 for 6 reps.
Was it a township, or was
it
that
a township? And Kyle was on the other side.
You guys recorded that, right?
We did record that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
We recorded that. I have that. That was like, and like when people like think squats, like I know like, they think like, okay, like just someone's gonna squat, it might not look the best. Like when I squat, like I make sure my calves are hamstrings. Like I'm deep.
It's such beautiful form.
And one thing that's helped me actually from Umar's recommendation, squat shoes. I wear lifters because of the ankle mobility, and I'm not affiliated or sponsored by any squat shoe, but I will tell you all, it has helped me drastically. So I'm very grateful for Umar for introducing
you guys have said that. You guys stay by them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's why my squat feels so much better. You don't feel it in your lower back. I don't wear a belt when I squat because of what the squat shoe does, right? Because a lot of people complain about back pain when they squat without shoes. but I think that's that mobility of their ankle that impacts their spine. So like you wear those shoes and you can go straight down and like forever change the game.
The one thing I always tell you when we would squat, my ankles.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, dude.
My ankles.
Your ankle mobility sucks.
Yeah. Dude, I wear fucking boots all the time.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
When you're hanging on a tower and you got to fucking point your toe and fucking kick off of the tower to move and work for hours, dude. Your fucking ankles are just shot.
Your calves are still so small.
Hey, you can't do nothing about that.
That's not true. Jay brought his up like crazy.
Dude, I was just seeing the RDLs you were doing the other day.
Yeah.
Your calves look nuts in that, bro.
Definitely brought them up. That was some. So I laugh when I tell this to Umar. I just started training them.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Like that's how. Like I wasn't really training them before.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really trains calves.
But I'll tell you.
Julian does.
Oh yeah, he does.
Julian Smith.
Yeah, Julian.
Big calf guy.
The weirdest
Him
ways.
and I were going back and forth recently. He's a good friend. He's cool.
He's cool, man.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I'd love to get out to him in that gym for a little retreat and getaway.
Yeah,
That'd be
you
amazing.
should, dude.
I wanted to go so
Oregon's cool
bad.
too. Oregon's super cool.
Look up to him from like he's in the industry. I don't know if you'd call him an influencer or whatever you want to call him, but
I think he's earned bodybuilder title.
yeah,
He's
for
competed
sure.
multiple times.
For
Oh, yeah.
sure. And I
He
think
loves
he's a
old school.
positive influence. He's got his son.
Dude's got the craziest triceps.
He does.
He's one of the most successful people I feel like in the industry, in my opinion.
Yeah.
From us growing up, for sure.
Yeah,
He's
100%.
successful. He's a father. He's got arms race. Great guy. Great to converse with. Like seriously, he's like a really really.
Yeah, I don't
good
think
guy.
I've ever heard a bad thing about him.
Yeah.
Like all the years of like growing up and like all these influencers and bodybuilders.
He
that
just stays out of it.
did content. Yeah, I've never heard a single bad thing
Great
about
guy.
him.
Great guy.
Really good. Quick, going back to what you said, you made a great point about training being fun.
Yeah.
But I think like a lot of people don't understand that at a certain point,
That's what. Yeah.
you
It's
have
their
to.
job, man.
Well, I was gonna say at a certain point, you have to make the transition to. All right, I'm not. Yes, I'm doing this because I enjoy it. But when it becomes a career, or you're trying to make it a career, your decisions have to be more strategic than they have to be emotional. Yeah. So if back squats, as much as you love them, there's a high chance you're not going to be programming back squats into your program.
Probably not ever again. Or
Yeah, at least not like free barbell squats.
Yeah,
possibly possibly Smith machine ones, maybe, who knows? But it does. You do have that trade off.
Let's if like people are watching this and like younger kids, like you guys need to know, you guys need to do that stuff, in my opinion. I think nowadays people will look at like what I'm doing, where like you and I have talked about this, like Nick programs a lot of like the single arm stuff, and like beginners need to get strong doing the basic stuff. Like don't like I see some kids and like we know them, and like I see some local people who like really try to like.
Yeah, what's their names?
Yeah, we need
what's
names.
I would never do that.
Just so they know.
That's what our podcast is about.
Transparency.
You guys could put them into your head just by me saying that.
Absolutely.
They overemphasize like that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just I see a kid like doing a freaking banded hack squat with sleeves, a belt, with wrist wraps. Because his wrist mobility on his hack squat.
I have seen that.
I mean, I don't know who. We're probably not talking about the same person.
Voorhees? Never mind.
You don't gotta get into it.
Yeah, what's his fucking name?
Yeah, but like I see people using all these attachments, and I'm like,
it's
they're
ridiculous.
Like a young kid, they're like, well, my wrist when I squat, and I'm like,
there's not enough weight on that fucking
I-
bar
that's-
for
that's
you
what
to
I'm
have
saying.
wrist issues, you pussy.
and they're doing the hack with the band, and I'm just like, you guys like are pussies.
Yeah,
like
right.
What are we doing? Like, get under some weight. And like, I know like the way I train now, like some people might say that, but like you don't understand. Like when I'm doing like a 3-4 second eccentric with like freaking 5 plates on a hack squat, I'm dying. Right.
Yeah.
So like I might make it look easy, but internally I'm ready to just drop.
People
right?
don't really
So-
realize those tempo reps, those pause reps, those negatives, all that shit, dude. The goal is to make lightweight feel heavy.
Yes.
That's how you know your muscles are working. To make something like we always, as long as I've trained with Chaz, I've always said it to him: make it feel heavy.
Yeah.
Make that weight that you could blast out 10 disgusting looking reps.
Yeah.
Make it look pretty and slow it down.
With where we are now, but these younger guys, they don't need to like they need to do it with good form.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need to overemphasize.
Yeah,
Would you
dude.
agree, Umar? Like they don't need to overemphasize like
I think
super slow, like how I kind of do it now to make sure I'm feeling but I have the muscle development to do so, right? You look at Nick Walker. he trains pitch perfect, right? And he doesn't train with a lot of weight, right? You guys had him on recently, like, because he knows what to do to contract the muscle.
It also takes time to build that mind, the muscle. Like, it takes a long time to do that.
It takes the mind a lot of time and the muscle.
And what we talked about before was like you said, the main thing to focus on is your form and strength as a kid, like or anyone who just starts getting to lift. Form and strength, everything is form and strength.
I agree.
There's nothing else you need to think about other than your form and your strength. And like you said, doing those compound movements that build a foundation. Like I will never tell a bodybuilder, and I've never told anyone who wants to essentially build a great back who has a foundation to load up the deadlift bar. I don't think it makes sense for hypertrophy. It just doesn't. To do that, it's just more risk versus reward. Like you said, your CNS is shot, your fucking back's taking a beating. Like, there's a time and place for it, and it's when you start lifting.
I don't know. I mean, people probably are going to get some benefit out of doing it still, even when they're developed. But like you said, risk versus reward, and you have to say like, what makes you happy? What's the risk? What's the reward? Yeah. Is it worth it? And like,
I mean, Ronnie Coleman. No one ever is going to look at Ronnie Coleman and say, stop deadlifting. It's not helping your back when his back looked like that. Yeah. Like no one's ever going to do that. No one's ever going to tell Jay Cutler to stop squatting when he squatted and his quads looked like that.
Right.
Like,
Jay was a heavy squatter though.
He still squatted the fuck. Like, he squatted like a psycho.
Yeah.
He was like, in his interviews, he was super big about saying that he would always pre-exhaust on legs just so that, and put squatting after, so that way he never let his ego get to him.
Yeah.
And you put squatting, you put squatting towards the end of your workouts, which is crazy.
I've had squatting, like, typically speaking, if let's say like a beginner to intermediate, even in advanced guys, because not for nothing, some of these advanced guys don't got fucking wheels. So like, if you guys want a fucking bomb leg day, sorry, can we curse here?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
We're pretty far into it.
Do start your leg, like, here's like, I mean, really, like, you need more movement to hit your legs, but like the one leg day in terms of the base and the skeleton that I did for the longest time. So like, you guys want to beef up your legs, you got to do 2 different hamstring curls, like a seated and a lying, whether that's single leg lying or bilateral, but you do your seated and your lying. Do extensions, whether it's single or bilateral. I had some like leg injuries, so like for a long time, like my was like I'm gonna start legs with a single leg lying curl, then do a seated curl, and then I'm gonna start quads with a single leg extension, then hit my back squats, then I would do adductors, and then if I needed an extra movement or 2 after that, that's when I would do that. But that was the skeleton of my legs for like, that's what's got my legs to where they are now. But my legs still have some flaws. Me and Umar talk about getting a little bit thicker from the rear. Yeah. So I've been doing like RDLs and glute bridges. Nick has had that programmed in, and and like my leg days are different now. But like, you guys want a really good skeleton for yourself? There you go. Boom. Like, do 2 hamstring curls, extensions, back squats, like free weight. Like get like challenge yourself and do some adductors. Yeah. Great leg day.
Clip it.
Yeah. For the kids.
Great leg day.
For the kids.
I was gonna say, do you want to kind of share? It's a little bit more on the personal side, but what it's like for you as a pro, because I think a lot of people have it twisted as to how life might change once you get that pro card.
It doesn't change.
No, yeah, and like, like what's the
becomes tougher.
What's like hard? I want to say what's hard about it, but what
are the challenges of turning pro and trying to live that life?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love talking about this because, like, it's really tough to like make it in the industry in terms of like being so financially set where like this is your only thing. Like, and most of the time, even when people like are at that point, they're still working on the back end. Like, they still have some type of work that they're doing or business, whether it's like their own clothing company or whether it's their coaching, whatever it is. So like for me, like, I don't think people know this, like, like, because a lot of people will like, I'll be completely transparent, like, I do decent for myself financially, but like the sport doesn't pay the bills, right? And like, I'm still working 2 jobs. Like, I'm in software sales, and then I also do coaching, so it's like, like, it's tiring, right? Yeah. Like, it's tiring to do 3 technical jobs, right? My 2 jobs in bodybuilding, because I'm gonna say bodybuilding at my level is like a job.
Oh,
right?
100%,
like,
sure.
To be competitive, it has to be.
You know what I mean? Like, at this level, and even not at my level, even people just, it's a job because it takes up time, like, but there is more on the line when you get later in your career, because it's like, there's that thing where it's like, if you weren't at that level, it might be easy to like hang it up when other life stuff gets tough. But like when you feel like you're like right there, and you just like, that's how I've been feeling the past like 2 years, where I've gotten second place and I've gotten third place and I got food poisoning in Cali. Like you're like, I'm right there. Why can't I figure this out? Yeah. And you're like, you're thinking like maybe a win will open up some avenues or some doors, right? So it's tough because like I have a 9-to-5 job. And I have my coaching posing, and then I compete. I have a girlfriend. I have dogs. I have responsibilities to take care of, right? It's like, I'm tired a lot of the time.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You guys, like, one thing I will say.
It fucking sucks.
One thing I will say is, like, for anyone watching and, like, these three guys and myself, like, the one thing I can actually confidently say, which is a cool feeling, is all of us have legitimate jobs and bust our butts. You know what I mean? Like all of us right here. So like for anyone listening, like you will not get by in life, like just skimping by, not working, not grinding. Like, and hopefully all of us like can retire early in our lives from all of our
hopefully there's a
hard
fucking
work.
payout at the end of this.
You know, like
Fucking over
I've
it.
known all these guys for a bit, and including myself, like we all bust our ass, and that's a common theme that like is why, you know, it's cool to be around people that are like that, because there's other people who like they don't. Like we were talking about before we were on air, like, you know, how people just sit around and do nothing, you know, because mom and dad pay the bills or this, that, and the other, right? It's like, you know, like this is like you have to bust your ass in today's day and age in anything that you're doing.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, it's definitely difficult. And like we said off the air, like people are like, oh, why don't you compete more? Or, you know, you should be farther along. It's like, dude, like I work 6-7 days a week. I've been doing it for about 3 to 4 years now, as long as I've known Chaz.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty difficult to fucking progress when
100%.
your body's stressed out. And
Traveling for work.
Yeah, living out of a bag, you know, doing manual labor, climbing towers. People can't even fucking work a normal 9-to-5 in prep, let alone climb a fucking tower every single day and eat your meals. And you know what I mean? So like, it sucks. And like, that's a sacrifice that I have to make. You know, I'm sure there's sacrifices where there's years been you wanted to compete, but you were like financially, like I need to make money. Like I got to put this first. Same thing with Chaz. Like I have to do this because this comes first. Like no one's paying my fucking bills. I can't put bodybuilding first.
And, you know, to chime in on that, I don't think I've made mistakes, but I've definitely, because of where I'm at, I've definitely prioritized bodybuilding maybe over things that I should have prioritized in the moment.
Right.
Because it would be easier if I wasn't where I am to say like, okay, like I need to step back for a little bit. But like, again, like when you're like clawing at that fucking door, you know, like you get second place, it's like you can take like and in second place, and then you go out and you hear and Olympia qualify, like it's like
it's addictive.
Oh, it's like you're right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you hear from a lot of your peers, like you're right there. You know, like, and it's like we were talking off air, Gio and I, and like, you know, like we said, like if people can afford to compete regularly or like they're at a top level and they're right there, it makes sense to do it. But if not, like people should embrace longer off seasons, should take time off, spend time with your family who deals with your bullshit when you're in prep. You know, because I'm definitely not easy. I definitely can be a fucking way. Umar and I don't talk for like I come into this fucking office, and the last month of prep, like we don't talk. I literally say hi. This is how you doing. Let's see what you look like. All right, hop on the bed. Let's work.
And I think that's one of the things that why it's off topic, but I think that's one of the reasons why C-Bone's become so popular. Because in his off seasons, like you see him in his videos, like he lives life. He enjoys his life. He prioritizes his family. Like he does all those things and makes it look like it's, you know, cohabitable to live the bodybuilding life and live a normal life. Yeah. I mean, granted, he's one of the fucking few people who can actually do that.
I was going to say, we're speaking of someone who doesn't need to work ever again.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the idea that people want to live, and that's not realistic. And I think that, like I said, I think that's why he's so popular, because people are like, oh, well, you know, he's going to Publix and having a hoagie after when he's, you know, and he looks sick. Like, I could do that. And it's like, you fucking can. Yeah. Like, you know, like, I know everyone wants to, but like you said, like, dude, all the sacrifices and all that, man, it sucks. Yeah. It ain't fun.
Do you have any regrets with it?
No. You can't. I have life regrets, but they're not around bodybuilding. Yeah. That's cool. I have things in my life that I should have, would have, could have.
Yeah.
They're not around bodybuilding. I can honestly. One thing I do think about though is, you know, and when I say this stuff, like I don't want people to think I'm broke, but and like I'm doing okay for myself. But I'm not, you know, like one thing is I wish that I maybe prioritized, you know, a career before my career in bodybuilding, because like I turned pro the same year that I graduated college. Yeah. So like I was really, you know, like you, and listen, like a lot, when I turned pro, there was a lot of, chatter around the area of like, you know, is this guy good enough to be a pro? Like it's 2 pro cards, you turn pro, place in second place. Like, you know, like he's not that good. I don't know how he got his pro card, yada, yada. But like I worked my ass off and I sacrificed a lot to get to where I was at the time and to where I am now. Yeah. And regardless of what people thought of my physique back then, because clearly, I mean, Tyler was the head judge of the show, and he told me why I got my pro card, because I got the chance to talk to him, right, over the other guys that were there. It's because of my shape, and I was conditioned. I was not the biggest, but, like, I looked the best. Well, I mean, I got second. Tony Tavares won the overall there. But, like, it's top 2 turn pro, so at the show. But, like, I needed a lot to improve on, and around that time, like, you know, there was a lot of chatter like, oh, does he deserve to be a pro? Some people even that were friends of mine saying stuff behind my back to other people that I had to hear about from other people in the gym, right? So, you know, like there was a lot of
names.
There was a lot of I mean, it's not, they don't, you know, they don't need the recognition for that, right?
Yeah.
But what it did is it motivated me. Yeah. Because the same people now will be like, bro, like,
yo, you look sick, bro. Fucking
no, but they're professional about it. Like no one's ever like disrespectful, and they're always like, when they do see me, because I know who some of these people are. You know, they're like, you know, you have,
because they're scared in person.
Yeah,
what?
Just say it. Because they're scared.
Bunch of fucking pussies.
Maybe not even scared. Maybe they just like can bite their words, and sometimes we all can, right? So I've said stuff about people that like I've gone back and be like, wow, he proved me wrong, right? So like, I'm trying to be very professional about it, because like, you know, at the end of the day, like, some people might have looked at me then and been like, you know, I don't see it yet, you know, and I've earned my way to do it. But like, yeah, I mean, I forget what we were talking about.
I was looking at it, I was like, he lost.
I think we started with regrets, and then
you said prioritize. You said a part of you wishes you would have prioritized the career.
Because around that time, I feel like is when
college,
people start to prioritize that stuff, and I was still doing personal I was working 2 jobs. And, you know, that was a tough prep. You know, you guys know my dad passed away when I was in my last semester of college. So there was a lot of changes then with that. Like, you know, I was living in the same town as my college and both my jobs. Then when he passed away, we lost the home. Had to move back to Marlton. The commute to Rowan and to my work was like a long time. Thankfully, you know, at the time, I was able to stay at the girl I was with at the time a couple days a week to kind of help with some commute and stuff like that.
Right.
But like that was incredibly tough. You know, like losing your dad and then like, you know, like having to go through your last semester of college. And I remember I started prep a month after he passed, because like we were planning on doing that show. And my dad was like, you got to do the show again this year. You got to get your pro card at that show. You got to do the show. Because the year before I placed 4th. So I missed my pro card there at Universe. So he's like, you got to. And when he passed away, I thought about that. And I talked to Dan, and Dan was like, listen, you can't prep this year because of this and what it's going to do to you. Like, I totally get it. Like, I would never ask you to do that. But if we are going to prep, we got to start now. Yeah. I just remember saying, okay, let's do it. So, like, I had to go through a lot that prep. I was commuting for school, 2 jobs, in prep. Dad passed away. A lot of other crazy stuff happened in that prep, but, like, we made it through. And just, I think the one thing I think about is, like, maybe I should have put a bit more effort and emphasis into getting a set career for myself versus, like, you know, I've definitely been working through figuring out what's best career-wise until the bodybuilding thing hopefully pays the bills, you know. Yeah. So, but because I bust my ass, because I work enough now, I definitely can afford what I do and stuff. Just, you know.
Yeah, and I'm on the opposite end of that, because like a part of me wishes that I would have prioritized bodybuilding a little bit more versus my career. Yeah. Because I dropped out of college to get a career, to make money faster, to buy a house and get settled and all that shit. Because I was like, I'm not gonna get out of college and be fucking broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was going to college for fucking business, and I was like, I'm not gonna go make $50,000 a year and be a fucking schmuck.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I part of me wishes like I didn't grow up as fast, and I would have like given myself a chance to maybe fuck up a little more, or maybe give myself those 2 years in college to maybe focus on bodybuilding a little more and have a easier life, I'll say, like, because, when I was I did both my preps in college, my first 2 shows, and shit was easy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, dude, like my second show where I met you at Attilas, dude, I was working until 1 to 2 a.m. and waking up at 7 a.m. and I was still fucking fine. I was still okay.
Your body's
Were you
just
living at
different
home
when
at
you're
the
that
time?
young.
Yeah.
Living at home,
Yeah,
maybe had a
living
little
at
bit of
home.
support from the family,
Yeah.
like, and again, like living at home is not bad when you're in college and young. Just so
no,
people
yeah,
know that, like,
yeah.
like that's what like
That's what you do.
it's what you do,
Yeah.
and like supportive family and whatnot. But it's just funny, like viewers can hear like we're in 2 different places in our careers and in bodybuilding careers, and we could say, man, I maybe wish I did what you did, and you could say, maybe I wish I did what you did. So it's just fun. It's a funny perception.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you're
a
never
yin yang,
gonna,
man.
You're never gonna 100% win, guys. So you have to figure out like not what's more important to you, but like, and there's no right or wrong. Like it's just like it is what it is. It's the route that you picked at the time, and you kind of have to live with it. And that's what we talked about. You can't have regrets behind it.
Yeah,
you just like moving. It's like you can't think of the past. You can't think of the future. You have to think of the present and just go.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like if you had gotten a good job or whatever, set up your career in a way where you'd make more money, maybe you wouldn't be as hungry as you are now because you're.
Maybe I wouldn't have done the things I've done.
Yeah, exactly.
Because classic is a tough division.
Yeah,
for
right.
sure.
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
definitely haven't won a show yet, and I haven't made it to Olympia. But I'd be damned to say I'm a pretty damn good athlete. And I would
Absolutely.
say
Yeah, you do
my,
well.
my
Yeah.
track record shows like I'm right there. So I'm like pushing to get into that Olympia qualified status, and those like let's say A-level athletes. I feel like I'm right about there.
And that's your goal, right?
My goal is to be my goal would be to beat Bumstead tomorrow.
Yeah.
My goal is I got into
Say
this
that a little
sport-
closer in the mic.
I
Bumstead.
I got into this sport to be the best. I did not get into this sport for the wrong reason, like a lot of kids do nowadays. This sport was something that,
for Instagram.
like, for IG, for whatever. Like, this is something that, like, I've been so passionate about. And when I got into it, it kind of was like faith that, like, the first year I competed was the first year Classic happened. If not, I was going to do bodybuilding because I always had legs.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to do men's physique, which there's nothing wrong with men's physique. I just was going to go the bodybuilding route. But like Classic kind of fell into my hands, I suppose. And like, I can tell you guys truthfully, and like you all know me, like I take this very seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I take everything about this very seriously. This is very important to me. And I don't do this for show, glitz, and glam. Like I do this because I want to be the best in the world. Like that's why.
Yeah, you're not one of those people that just decides they want to do a prep and jump into a prep once a year and then all of a sudden do nothing for an off season. You've been going consistently for 4 or 7 years nonstop, like without a break.
And like I remember our first interactions. I don't really remember ours too much. No offense.
That's kind of hurts, but
I feel
I'm like one of your biggest fans. But
Shocker,
like-
Chaz is forgettable.
I feel like they just kind of like we kicked it off very well. We did too, but I remember ours a bit more because you were one of the first people in that group at Attilas, right? And I think you were somewhere in there. And Umar came up to me in the gym and said, "Hey, can I like pull on your feet?" That's how we met. So we met at Giant, and he's like, "Yo, can I pull on your feet?" No, it wasn't.
weirdo.
Something like that. No, I met you right after you had turned pro.
It was before.
Oh my god,
It was before. We met
The
before.
first time?
We met before.
I remember congratulating you.
We met before, and then we rekindled after turning pro, and that's when we started to kind of work together and whatnot.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I've known you the longest.
You've known me the longest.
Yeah,
Holy
absolutely.
shit.
No, I think I messaged you on Instagram or something at
You've
first.
known me the longest.
Yeah.
And I sent you a couple like motivational videos.
Yeah.
And I was like, please notice me.
One thing I'll say about Chaz is has a physique that is
Gay.
amazing. No, not gay.
Dude, I would have clipped that too, and now I can't clip it.
You can definitely clip it.
He could be gay, but he still has amazing. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with gay people.
Now he sounds like me.
Just a disclaimer. It's
It's just
just
to
a
stay
joke.
super professional. There's people watching us. No. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're not. Never mind.
Don't even just go.
Yeah, know. Keep going, Justin. Elaborate.
Chaz has a physique that I really admire, and I really appreciate what you bring to like your posing and how you kind of present yourself, and even to the point of like I trust Chaz to come up with a routine for one of my pro shows over myself. Yeah. Mandatories, I have a little bit more knowledge with mandatories, and I've helped you with posing before.
Yeah.
But when it comes to kind of what you bring to the art of it, I'm one of the people that admires that, right? And a lot of people, even in classic physique nowadays, they don't pose that well. You know, they don't have good routines. They treat it more like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But like what you bring is something that's very unique. So I want to give that a shout out.
Hey,
everyone
so
here is special in their own ways, right?
I appreciate
so it's like I told people, like we're all hardworking people and we all have our own talents. This is a good group of people.
Yeah.
You know,
That was his way to make up for saying that you were forgettable in your first interaction, by the way.
Shut up, dude.
That was a pity compliment.
I'm going to clip what he said and play it every day for myself.
You got to clip when he jumps in.
Yeah, I know.
right.
Let's just pan over to it real quick.
Asshole.
Of your track record of the shows that you have done, is there one that sticks out to you the most? Is there one that you enjoyed the most?
Probably the food poisoning one, right?
That's the worst one.
Oh,
Stick
shit.
out, though. Yeah, what time are we at, by the way?
45.
45.
Well, because didn't you have a topic you
Yeah.
wanted to talk about? The Arnold thing?
Yeah, I was gonna because we talked about it the other day. Well, I just asked him a question.
I know.
I'll be quick with this one. Fit World was the worst because I got food poisoning. Literally 8 hours out.
Shout out
like,
McDonald's.
You can like go to my Instagram or like find Dan talking about that or something, so we don't like rehash it. But basically, I got food poisoning 8 hours out, and it was that was the most interesting thing I've ever experienced before a show. Umar was there for that with Dan. Woke you guys up at 3:30 in the morning.
And slept at all.
Shitting
that
and
weekend.
throwing up, and I had to be on stage in 8 hours. And when it passed, Dan just started feeding me rice, coconut oil, and Gatorade, and that was my carb up. That was my carb up. It was, and I still placed fifth. I don't know how, but my most favorite experience would there's nothing like your pro debut.
Yeah.
Like pro debut, I remember more than getting my pro card.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, the pro debut was cool. Umar was there for that, which I'm very grateful for because we had met like before, right? The Texas State the following year with you, my sister, with my girlfriend, and my coach was probably my most exciting, memorable.
Was that Brittany
time.
House?
That was a Brittany house.
Yeah.
We stayed in a home that was owned by a man who I think was obsessed with Britney Spears.
Oh,
and there were pictures in every room of Britney Spears.
Like
the house
framed,
was kind
like
of
as
pink.
if she lived there.
Yep, it was a very interesting home.
Whoa.
But it was kind of cool.
Yes.
That was fun. That show
Fucking
was
weird
really
is
fun.
what that
Got a
is,
fucking
dude.
blonde
that guy's
girl in the
getting a
basement.
complaint from me. There's probably cameras on all those fucking frames.
Could have been.
No, that show was. I had a great time. One going out to Texas.
Sounds like a good production, too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, every Texas show that
Yeah,
I've been
it's pretty
to
crazy.
is my
Texas Pro.
Who's the guy that does them? I'm blanking on his name. What's his name?
Freddie.
Freddie.
Well-
they do right.
Texas State was different.
Was it?
Galvanized. I forget who it was, but it was a husband and wife. It was not Freddie.
Gotcha.
Freddie did Texas State, and now he does Texas Pro, but not. He did Battle of Texas, and now Texas Pro. But Texas State is different promotion.
I will say all
Yeah.
the Texas ones were awesome.
Dude, Texas Pro looks crazy.
Happy that they moved nationals there because
Yeah.
Texas is a cool bodybuilding hunt, and like it's
Oh, so it's not in Florida anymore.
not in Florida anymore.
I didn't move there.
Not Florida. So yeah, that's my little.
My question was what we talked about yesterday was like I think we had kind of brushed over it with Nick, but we talked about it in a more positive light, talking about the prize money going up
Yes.
for open,
Yes.
but we hadn't really seen it for other
Classic.
things, and we were trying to get opinions on that. I said I was for what Arnold had done. I said I don't think
Yeah,
there's
I'm all for it.
anything wrong with it. But Jay brought up a good valid point, and I wasn't saying it was wrong by any means. I just think when you look
And
at
I said I was for it too.
Yeah.
By the way, so like I just was trying to be devil's advocate, right? And not because how I actually feel is like it's Arnold's show. It's Arnold's money.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
don't tell him what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Do what he
dude.
wants. It's Arnold, and not for nothing, he's giving back more.
Yeah.
Yes, he's giving back to a selective group of bodybuilders, but there's been a lot of controversy about like bringing in the other divisions. And the Arnold Classic is not the Olympia. It's not the pinnacle, the best show in the world. So technically, it's just another show.
Yeah.
There's many shows out there that don't have every division in there. There's shows that just have female divisions, which is the Wings of Strength, and they give out a fucking Mustang and like a good
really?
check. to
I didn't
win
know
it.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't
They
know
give
that.
out
Wings
a
of,
lot.
Wings of
Yeah.
Strength is nuts.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and good. Like
Yeah.
good.
No, that's
like,
awesome.
Good. Like,
That's
I'm,
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
like I'm happy that women have that. But then like the women's physique champ Sarah, and I totally
I
understand. I
saw that
totally
post.
understand where she's coming from.
I
by the
don't.
way. Well,
I don't.
that's fine.
I just don't. You know, it's like the WNBA shit. You know, like if you're not generating fucking revenue,
right.
why are we gonna give you money?
No.
The only other fucking class that should get a lump sum of money is classic physique because they fucking bring in
You're right.
all the other people.
Yeah,
Right.
It's open, classic, and then you can argue that even bikini wellness are now bringing in money, but
They
like
do.
I wish they would.
That's
take,
about it.
I wish they would take down like stats like at these events
know,
or
yeah.
stuff and be like, "Who are you
What
here to
division
see?"
are you seeing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see what's
right.
wrong with that. Or when you buy a ticket, like just click it.
Yeah, right. It's like any other.
Because I would just be very curious. Because then you can really see, like, oh, here are the numbers. This is why
Yeah.
people are
I'm
coming.
surprised they haven't done that.
Yeah, it would,
I mean,
it
as
would
a
clear up
business.
so much.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like you can't look at it from like we want what they get. Like
Yeah,
you got to
right.
look at it like what makes fucking sense.
And where should we put our money at?
Yeah,
to
where are
make
you gonna put
most-
the money into? The
the business can still continue doing what it's doing and
Yeah.
growing. Like
Yeah.
he's trying to one, recover from COVID, and two, just still continue to make it one of the best shows in the world.
Did you-
And go ahead.
sorry, did you see like the crowd when Open was up, when Hottie and Samson were out there
Oh, yeah,
going?
dude.
The crowd was going fucking apeshit.
Yeah.
Did you
At
see it
UK,
when?
at UK as well?
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
absolutely.
don't even know what division people want.
Did you see it when the other divisions were up? People were in their fucking seat. Okay.
Yeah.
And this isn't a knock at them. I think every division is amazing in its own way, and everyone's a very, 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 very impressive athlete. But like,
Yes.
objectively speaking, you ain't fucking bringing people in.
No.
Yeah.
This is for you guys at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like it ain't for the fans because the fans want to see people like Samson Hottie. They want to see people like Bumstead and fucking Ramon, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, right.
I can't fix
Old
fact.
named men.
I think we
Unbelievable,
all. I
dude.
think we all wouldn't be like, let's say hypothetically speaking, Arnold had enough money to bring in all the divisions. None of us would say like, get that division out of there. Like,
Yeah, no.
we all would love to see
Exactly,
all the
yeah.
divisions.
And
there.
Arnold
100%.
definitely has enough money to bring in all the divisions. He just doesn't want to.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
puts it into open, and not for nothing, that's his choice. And like, so Fuad made an argument on his podcast when I was listening, like in the car, and he's like, if Sarah and these folks are so passionate, ask Arnold and say, hey, if we get sponsors to, let's say, cover $30,000, how much would it be to have the women on there for this amount? Like, how much would that be? If we as women's physique competitors can get the sponsors to do that, would you match that in prize money? If it's 30,000, 40,000, whatever it is, could you take that 200 that you just gave to open and just give us something to have something? And they had a true valid argument. Like, we got the sponsors for it. Like, we got like people to support this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'm not against it. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not-
that requires work,
it does.
and people don't want to work. People just want shit to be handed to them.
I will say this. I had said this to Umar yesterday. Like I said, I agree with you guys more so than like the latter end of like having them compete. But I will say what I do know about the women's physique champ Sarah, who we're speaking of, who had that comment, and who was very vocal about it. She has given back to the division, which is cool. Like, she gives out a $10,000 out of her own money prize to the women's physique winner of Texas State, Texas Pro. So like she's. It's not like she's not doing stuff, which is really
right.
it's
Yeah, that
cool.
is
It's
amazing,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's cool that she
Yeah.
is doing that and she's promoting her sport like that. Like, I admire that, like, big
Yeah.
time, right? But like you said, fact of the matter is, as a whole, that division's not bringing the money. It's Arnold's show. Arnold can do what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think they're taking it as a knock on their division, like it's not important or no one cares about it. That's not the case. No one's saying that, and no one's
They also
insinuating
they
that.
don't have 4 other divisions too.
And of all the sports to take something personally, bodybuilding is not it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah,
Mr. O used to just be Mr. O.
Yeah.
Like, you know, all these
Yeah.
other divisions came to be inclusive.
Yeah, remember why it started and where it started?
Yeah, it used to be men's Mr. O and a woman's Mr. O,
yep.
and that was it.
Yeah.
That was
Then
literally it.
bikini, then men's physique,
Yeah.
and then
Then you got all these other divisions, and you can't get a new division that you should be thankful to even have. Like, because if there was no classic, you'd either be in men's physique or open.
yes,
That'd be it.
yes.
You know, you like,
Definitely open.
well, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that'd be it. Like, there would be
I
no.
might have to go to open.
Yeah, I know, dude.
have to-
262.
There's no division. You
No,
know?
I agree.
Instead of being thankful and just being happy with how far it's come,
Yeah.
people want to complain.
Yeah.
Complain and fucking complain.
Right.
It's
It's an easy thing
ridiculous.
to do. I'm not saying her, but I'm saying for me it was more so all the other comments. Like
Yeah.
she came from a very valid point.
No, she
as an
made sense.
athlete,
I understood.
Somebody at the highest level, obviously doing her thing, but it was the
She
comments
speaks
that
very
like
professional as well.
yeah, it was all the comments from like other people where I'm just like, man, you guys have such an opinion, but you're doing absolutely nothing for the sport,
Yeah.
right? Like if there's anybody's gonna have an opinion on it, her makes sense.
Yeah,
she's
the winner,
Yeah.
the champ. Yeah,
The champ.
Yeah,
yeah. It
everybody
makes
else
sense
is
for her
kinda
to be
crazy.
upset, and like you said, she made valid points, and she does what she can to make her division better. You know, like
So
she
if
puts
other
in.
people, other coaches, other sponsors came in to help. That would
That'd be sweet.
fight their cause or help
It's a
fight
good
their
idea.
cause.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It makes a lot of sense, and then you have a better chance of making everyone happy.
Yeah.
But
Anything to say to sign off here, Justin? To the followers, the
gonna
fans.
wrap it up.
nah, I appreciate you all having me. Maybe
Yeah.
we could do this again as I get closer to my show that's undisclosed to these folks.
Yeah, under wraps.
You guys will know about in a few minutes.
Yeah,
And,
so you can follow him. What is it? Is it just?
Yeah, we'll
Justin?
it's just my name.
We'll bring him on when he's all fucking dopey looking
Yeah.
and dead from prep.
Yeah.
Can barely form a
See the
thought.
difference, yeah.
bring me on.
Give
when
him a
I'm-
coloring book.
exactly like when I in that last month when we don't talk in here. We'll see what I
Just
Have
sit.
a podcast. Just
what
sit
I
here.
have for you. What I will say is to anyone watching this, and like this is just more so going to be my confidence coming out. Just be ready to see something special this year. You know, I'm doing something this year that I'm really proud of. That I've always lacked. I used to be a cocky, more arrogant, younger lad, right, Gio? I used to have, I think all of us used to think our shit don't stink when we're younger and
Oh,
we're
yeah, of
growing up,
course,
and we
dude.
think that we're, on top of the world. And because of some of the life events that happened, it really kind of like shut me down in a sense and humbled me up. It also made me lack a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
A lot of that stems from my dad, what happened with him, and just kind of like getting to the pro league and understanding where you are, and then hearing all these people saying these things about you, it kind of gets to your head. But I'm in a place now where I understand what I'm bringing to the table, and I'm bringing a physique that honestly I plan to blow your all minds.
Yeah, it was nice to see your growth, not physically, but
Yeah.
mentally. Like you said, from where you were to now, you have grown tremendously since we've met, and that's pretty sweet too.
You have to. You always got to be willing to kind of grow and improve, and if you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like
Thought provoking.
you have to be able to unbiasedly look at yourself and say, what can I change? And like I had some traumatic things happen that kind of made that happen, and it negatively impacted me, but I think I've been able to turn that into positive over the years and get to the man I am today.
Yeah, dude. I'm super excited for you. We all are, and that's about it. Please comment, like, subscribe, follow Justin on social media,
Yep.
follow him, and that'll be it for this week, guys. We will see you next week. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Thanks, Jake, for coming.